Hi YouTube. I am here working on insulation for our van build, and just wanted to touch base, show you a little bit of progress. I've got some insulation stuffed up underneath those areas at the top of the insulation, and you can't see it, but it's stuffed up underneath. And then I'm going to piece in pieces at the top. So what I'm using here is 1/2-inch polyiso foam. It's no mystery, a lot of people use this. I'm using John's Manville that I got at Lowe's. It has foil backing on both sides, and each section that you see here is going to have 3 layers total of polyiso foam, 1/2-inch. The first layer fits between the stud so that the polyiso can be glued directly to the outside exterior wall. The next layer fits between the studs, as you see here, and is kind of a friction fit between the studs. Now each stud has a little bit of a flange on it, and that flange is just a little less than a 1/2-inch. So the first layer I'm putting between the studs so that that glue holds it right up against the outside, so there's no air space to collect condensation. The second layer goes on top of that, and then the third layer, which you do not see, is going to be a full sheet that goes over the top of the studs to prevent any thermal transfer from the studs themselves. Okay, so here's a close-up view of the stud, and you see that there is a flange right here. So this 1/2-inch piece of material can go right up against the wall and then slide up against that flange. But then there's another step right here, and that's about 1/8 of an inch below the surface of this 1/2-inch material. So my first layer is going right up against the wall like this, and I'm gluing that tight, and that's just in between that flange. And then the step, you can see, is a little bit wider, so I'm friction fitting that in, and that looks like that, friction fit in up tight. Pretty easy. Now I've heard some people complaining that the 3M Super 77 does not stick. Well, I'm not having any difficulty, and I'll go through the process. So basically this polyiso John's Manville is foil backed on both sides, so no problem there. The other components that I'm using is 91% isopropyl alcohol, and it's just Walmart brand. And I got the 91 versus 70. I got to believe that either one will work just fine, but I got the 91%. And I'm washing the wall before I apply any glue, and then I'm applying the 3M Super 77 to both the red wall of the van and to the back of the polyiso foam, and then gluing it in place. And it's sticking real good. I know that I've seen multiple people saying that the glue doesn't work. I don't know if it was different materials that they were using. That's why I'm being careful to document everything that I'm using, so that if you want to use glue, you know that at least this does work. So 3M Super 77, pre-wash with isopropyl alcohol, Wash that red section, spray it with glue, spray the polyiso foam with glue, and then let them sit for about 5 minutes or so till they get tacky, and then push them, and it's like any other contact cement, it adheres on contact, and it adheres pretty darn good. So I guess I just don't know what the problem other people are having. I've seen people trying to glue one material on top of another, and that might be why they're having difficulty getting it to stick. But I'm getting the first layer as a glued fit, and it fits and sticks just great. The second layer, as you see here, there's 2 layers on there and 2 layers on there. Those are a friction fit on the outer layer and a glued fit on the inner layer. And then the third layer will go over that, and paneling on top of that. So that's it. Back to work. So here's the wall preparation. I have a rag. I bought 18 rags for $1 at Walmart. Isopropyl alcohol. A little bit on the rag. And then I just go over the wall, wash it. Get any residues left from the factory. So here's my prepped surface, and here's the Super 77 going on. It's a busy day, but we've got the insulation finished. Well, not finished, because I have to trim off the tops of those and patch in some little pieces. But an inch of insulation in the ceilings, an inch of insulation in the walls,